Thanks for tuning in to Talking Point. I'm your host, Neeraj Shah. Tata Power came out with numbers, of course, and posted reasonably strong profit numbers, aided by better numbers at Mundra and better EPC contribution, solar EPC contribution, as well as lower interest cost. The question to Mr. Praveer Sinha, though, is whether he believes that the business is on track for what they have guided to for the rest of the year, and how optimistic he with the pace of the recovery that we're seeing and therefore the resultant demand in power offtake. He joins us right now on the show to talk about those numbers and the outlook ahead. Mr. Sinha, good having you. Thanks so much for joining in. Hope all is safe.
Thank you, Neeraj, and for having me on the show. And yeah, everything is fine, and I hope everything is good with you too.
Yeah, touch wood, all okay. Can you sum up the quarter first? When I looked at the headline numbers, maybe compared to Bloomberg estimates, the operational numbers look a tad bit lower, maybe because of higher employee expenses or higher purchase cost of power. But overall, how did the quarter set up?
I think the quarter was very stable, and the performance has been very consistent and good, I would say. Last quarter also, we had a 10% increase in PAT. And so also in this quarter, the EBITDA has gone up. And what is important to see is that the consistency in performance is there. In fact, this is the fourth consecutive quarter where we have shown an increase in profit. Last quarter was a 10% increase. This quarter also was 10% increase. And we do expect that going forward, similar trends will be observed because our performance has stabilized, whether it is our coal-based plants or our hydro plants, or it is our transmission and distribution business or renewable business. They have become very, very mature. We are working virtually at each of these locations at 99% capacity. So our availability of our transmission and distribution is 99.75 to 99.9. Our renewable projects, solar and wind, we are at, in fact, solar, most of the plants are at 100%. Similarly, in wind, we are 99 plus in most of the plants, and the balance are 98 plus. So I think consistency of performance is something that has to be seen in Tata Power. And especially power companies, you need to look from a long-term perspective that is directionally it is in the correct direction and where it will go in future.
Most certainly. Let's talk about a few near-term or a few individual nuances before we talk about the broader picture, Mr. Sinha. Mundra under recoveries, I believe, have declined quite considerably. If my numbers serve me correct, Mr. Mundra, 0.3 per unit from 0.52 per unit, Mr. Sinha. How do you look at that performance? How is it slated to move ahead in the near term?
So the Mundra performance has improved tremendously. We have been for last 1.5 years working on the aspect of how do we blend coal and how do we source coal in a much smarter way. And that has started yielding results from under recovery of nearly 90 paisa 2 years back. We came down to 50 paisa last year. And this year we are in the 30 paisa range. So I think we have learned the art of how to source coal efficiently from various places, how to have spot purchases, and what is the way that will make the plant operate at a better performance efficiencies. So that has happened. The second big thing that we have now done is that we have brought down the debt of Mundra, which of course will start getting reflected in future quarters. So we got 2,600 crores as pref capital from Tata Sons. We have used to repay the debt for Mundra. We have also got the money from the sale of ships, which incidentally was part of the Mundra cluster that we were having. So that is also being used now to repay the debt. So we will have a debt of only 4,000 crores from 8,000 crores, which we were having earlier. So that will also get reflected in subsequent quarters. Similarly, the performance parameters have improved. We expect some of the changes that we have done in the heat rate and auxiliary consumption will start showing results in the subsequent quarters. The blending of coal that we are doing, that has helped us. And of course, the soft prices of coal. Globally, the coal prices have come down, and world over, there is an excess capacity of coal, and we will take benefit of that in terms of sourcing from various locations, not only Indonesia, from other places also. So I think going forward, Mundra will be very, very stable. If we look at the Mundra and the coal cluster, uh, for 2 consecutive quarters, we made a PAT over there. And I think going forward also, we expect that if even if the coal prices goes up, between the two as a cluster, we will continue to make profits. So uh, we are very, very confident that Mundra is an issue which we have to a very large extent resolved it. And going forward, the performance will only improve.
The the other thing, Mr. Sinha, is the solar EPC business right now. If as I look at it, the numbers YOY revenue pad of about 85% and 200%. The order book looks very, very strong. How how happy are you with what you've done there? And what's your sense, Mr. Sinha, of whether this kind of performance can it be replicated going ahead? Because that's been one strong force for you this quarter.
Absolutely. In fact, this is one business that we have been growing very, very fast, and there is exponential growth that we have seen. Today, we have become the biggest EPC player in solar projects. So I think going forward, this will only become much stronger. Just to give you a little perspective, 2 years back, our total annual revenue used to be 1,000 crores, and we used to make a profit of something like 100 crores. In fact, 2016-17, we had a loss of 100 crores. This year, in the last quarter, we had a revenue of 1,000 crores. So that's the type of difference we are. We are looking at something like nearly 6,000 to 7,000 crore revenue this year in EPC. We are also expecting that going forward, especially that we will have large number of solar projects internally that we would be executing for ourselves as a part of our InvIT. So we will always have a very, very healthy order book, 50% organic and 50% inorganic. And with more and more of rooftop solar and solar pumps that we are selling, this will only increase. So we will definitely be one of the biggest EPC players in solar in the coming years.
Okay. What about the run rates though? You mentioned that you would probably touch 6,000-7,000 crores of revenue. Would the profitability be intact, and therefore uh, and this performance maybe not at the same pace but a very healthy clip, can it continue well into FY22? Your order backlog also seems to be robust.
Yeah, we have nearly 9,000 crores of order backlog, and with more and more projects that we are ourselves winning for utility scale solar, this will only increase and should cross 10,000 in next month or so. And we do expect that going forward, we will have one of the healthiest order book. We have internal target of adding 2,000 megawatt every year. So you can imagine that a 2,000 megawatt means 8,000 crore of EPC that we will be doing internally for ourselves, apart from about a similar quantity for outside. So I think this is a big business that we have now become very, very proficient in executing. Our execution time has come down. Our engineering capabilities have improved tremendously, and the quality of projects that we are doing is phenomenal. So I think going forward, the experience of Tata Power in executing large projects is also getting demonstrated in large EPC projects, solar projects that we are executing now.
Just one final question on this, Mr. Sinha. Is profitability at its peak currently because of all tailwinds and everything moving in tandem? Or do you reckon there is room to increase profitability in the solar business?
It will definitely increase.
The metrics,
This is
the metrics would
yeah.
improve.
Yeah, this will definitely increase much more than what we are. And this is for the first year that we are getting into a large EPC revenue. And as our revenue increases, so also our profitability will increase. So you will see that going forward, the profitability of our EPC business will go up much more than. And as I had mentioned earlier, we are definitely looking at increasing our footprint in renewable, especially solar, uh, uh, by nearly 4 to 5 times in next 5 years. So you can imagine the type of profitability that we are looking from the renewable business.
No, yeah, no, that's the point that I was trying to come at. That overall profitability will certainly move up, but per unit or operational metrics will they improve? Because if you're indeed um, quadrupling your size overall in the solar EPC business, and if the profitability is to inch up or the metrics inch up, then the profit per unit or the overall profits I mean, the run rate of profit growth versus the revenue growth will be materially different, right? Your profit growth will surpass your revenue growth in the EPC business.
Absolutely right. The delta increase will be much more because your fixed cost remains the same, but your other profitability will improve to that extent. So I think we are definitely expecting that the renewable business, both the utility scale, rooftop, as well as the EPC, will give us a huge bump up in the profitability in the future years.
Got it. Okay. One question: deleveraging. You're probably on track as per what you had guided to. Maybe I'm not officially guided to, but guided to at the start of the year. What are the current numbers like, Mr. Sinha? And any sense on whether the InvIT comes in the COVID impacted year 2020, or does it get pushed to 2021, the last quarter that is?
I think on the deleveraging, we are on track. We have gone and completed most of the divestments that we had planned, and the money also has come. So that's the good thing, because during COVID period, there was a lot of apprehension whether we will be able to get the money or not. We have been able to get the money also. The two divestments that we are still pursuing is getting little delayed because of local conditions, and we definitely want better realization for these assets. So we are also watching the market and seeing that how best we can further improve in the realization that we get for these two assets also. Apart from that, the InvIT is going very well. The due diligence has been going on. There are investors who have shown a lot of interest, and there is a huge number of people who are going through the details. We do expect that by end of December we will have a binding offer, and hopefully in the quarter four, in the first 3 months of 21, we'll have the other documentation completed, including the approval from SEBI and approval from shareholders and all that. So we are on track that end of March, we had said that we will complete this transaction, and we are very confident of completing it before end of March.
Okay. Mr. Sinha, one final question, and we'll probably do these checks once every 6 months of sorts. But if indeed all things are happening, which is your profitability in the solar business, which is growing at a breakneck speed, continues, the deleveraging, which helps reduce the interest cost and therefore adds to the bottom line, and if margins don't correct too much, this quarter they were a bit off, I believe, presume because of higher employee expenses, but maybe they'll stabilize. Are you on track to increase your profits quite substantially over the next couple of years? Estimates vary from a number of 1,400 crores in FY21 to maybe 2,800 crores in FY23, and then there are other variances of the same. What's your own sense?
We normally don't give the guidance, but I can tell you that we are on track, and we will surprise you with the type of performance that we will give, because now that we have done the deleveraging and our balance sheet is very, very healthy, our debt equity ratio has come down. So I think we are on the growth track. You mentioned about the renewable. We are also growing very fast in our distribution business. We expect the the Odisha distribution that we took over, the SESU one, the TPCODL, that will stabilize by end of this year. We are also in the market for the 3 bids that we have submitted in Odisha. We expect a decision on that in next 1 month to maybe 2 months time, and we are very confident of winning some of those distribution businesses. We are also going to bid for some of the union territories. So I think what you would see in future from Tata Power is a lot of growth, and a lot of growth in transmission, in distribution, in renewable hybrid solutions. And I think this is the period where you would really see a huge amount of improvement in all the performance parameters, financial metrics that we have. And Tata Power is on track to become the number one power company in the country.
Well, we wish you all the best for that, Mr. Sinha. Keep up the good work. Thanks so much for joining in. And once again, wishing you a very happy new year.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And
Thank
to
you.
you also, happy Diwali.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Sinha. Thanks for joining in. And viewers, thanks for tuning into this edition of The Talking Point.